Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. This is not my show tonight. This is about the growth in our side of town. Actually, not just our side, but all sides. And so I'm turning the meeting over to, please give him a warm welcome, Dr. Philip Brown, Superintendent of the School District.
School and one of the high schools, all 12 of them had increased, which is awesome. Third bullet point, we are the fastest growing school district in the state. So I'm going to give you a statistic that you can share with your friends because they're not going to believe you when I tell you this. So what counties touch Jackson? Banks, Madison, Barrow, Gwinnett, Hall, is that all of them? We have two internal, city school districts, Jefferson and Congress. If you add up from last year to this year, the number of students that all of those systems grew, it does not equal our number. So we're averaging 662 kids a year over the past 4 years. Now, 662 kids is more kids than we have at East Jackson Elementary, it's more kids than we have at Maysville Elementary, it's more kids than we have at East Jackson. So if you think about it, over the last 4 years, we're growing a school a year. One of the difficult things, Mr. Jason Wester is with me tonight, he serves as our assistant superintendent for student services. One of the things that we are having, that is a challenge for us right now, is being able to predict and forecast the number of students that we're growing every year and where those students are going to go, where they're going to go to school at. If you look into Jackson Herald today, there were 2,000 plus building permits pulled in our county last year. A lot of those, the majority of those, were pulled inside the city of Cushing. And so not only are we growing, but it's a condensed growth in one spot or two spots. years, we opened 2 new schools, completely paid for. Now, you're saying to yourself, how do we pay for those schools? We pay for them using East Block dollars, so we get 1 cent off of everything that is sold within the county right now. We average about $1.2 million a month. It's close to $14.4 million a year, so we average, so right close to $15 million. Those 2 schools are about $80 million worth of construction. So we use savings of our East Block money, and we use some state capital outlay money to be able to fund those 2 schools and completely pay them off, which we think is a huge accomplishment. Schools belong to the community, and so our community owns those 2 schools. We're really proud to say that. Yeah, that's great. So the next bullet, improvements to schools throughout the system. So, oftentimes people get excited about shiny and new, and that's important. We're building schools for 50 years down the road. But also, it matters to take care of what you have. And so maintaining our facilities, maintaining our grounds, and making our schools something that our city can be proud of is really, really important to us. New pathways that empower college and career centers. So about 4 or 5 years ago, Jackson County High School moved from the location on Highway 129 and 11, and they moved to the area on Skelton Road. When they did that, the school district transformed Old Jackson County High School into a college and career center. So we offer what you would consider back in the day vocational classes at that school. We also offer a lot of regular classes at that school, full classes. So you may see in there, and I'm just going to rattle these off Mr. Westroff to help me, but construction classes, healthcare science, graphic design, agriculture, number one industry in the state of Georgia, entrepreneurship, business computer science, electronics, heavy machinery. So we have 4 Caterpillar simulators the kids can work on. There's a 100% pass rate. And there are many companies that are hiring our students straight out to run those excavators, run those bulldozers, and build roads, which is really exciting for our kids. New automotive lab. On that campus, if you drive by that campus right now, we're building an automotive lab for our students to take automotive class. We've surveyed our kids over the last 2 years, and automotive has been the class that's been requested the most that we didn't offer. You also think about it, makes sense. Interstate I-85 runs through the heart of our community. There are going to be many jobs in that field for our students. And not only will we be able to offer automotive, we're working on a partnership with Lear Tech to offer diesel mechanic classes, those kinds of things at night. We'll keep working on that. The next one, high-performing athletic teams, organizations, and clubs. We realize that kids are connected to school, are more likely to be successful. So we worked really hard on providing them opportunities. In the last few years, we've added things like girls flag football. You'd be amazed at how popular girls flag football is with kids right now. We offer esports.
You mean with the boys?
No. Esports. So there are sports now where our kids compete against other schools in video games. It's called esports. Growing in popularity. Kids that have not had opportunities to participate in other things before, you see them successful in that area, which is nice because if they're connected to something, then they're more likely to want to stay in school, get back to their community. The last one there, additional steps in the salary schedule. So the state of Georgia's salary schedule for teachers in the state has always stopped at 21 years. So at the end of 21 years, teachers, staff members did not get a raise unless it was a raise to the governor. I think our board really believes in keeping our talent in Jackson County. You know more about it. It doesn't really matter who the superintendent is. It oftentimes doesn't matter who the principal is. It matters who your job teacher is. And so keeping the best teachers, recruiting the best people, and retaining the best people. So we added 2 additional steps to that price schedule. We continue every year to add more and more steps. There are many districts around us that are doing similar things. So we're all competing for the same people. We're all competing for the best people. We think pay is really important. We also think culture is really important. How your teachers feel, how they get treated, discipline problems get handled in their classroom. Do they feel like you communicate well? Do you keep their safety in mind when you're making decisions. I mean, so people think about students driving to school tomorrow, or yesterday, and today. I thought about, we have bus drivers on the road. We're trying to drive a bus, and many of our bus drivers have never driven at night before, they've never driven in snow before. I think about our staff members trying to get to work, and, making sure that they get safely to work. And so that's all important, that all fits into that culture. All right, our growing enrollment. So this is from FY 19 to FY 25. So over the past 6 years, you'll see we've grown at 40.59%. I do not know of another district that's over 20%. I'll repeat what I just said. I don't know of another district that's grown over 20% during that time. You can see Hall's much bigger than us. Gwinnett, we couldn't do it, it'd go through the roof. They can have a bar graph up there, but that gives you an idea of how explosive the growth is right now in our community. Any questions so far? All right, moving right along. So not only are we growing as a district, individual schools are growing at a crazy pace. So over the last 6 years, look at Jackson County High School. Almost 70% over that 6-year period. If you look, this is Gum Springs, North Jackson, West Jackson Elementary, and Heroes. So the reason why we opened those two schools in the past 2 years, if you drove by West Middle School, West Jackson Middle School 3 years ago, we had almost 50 trailers in that town. You could not see the front of the school for trailers. The trailers in the front, the trailers on the side. We had students who went to middle school, 6th through 8th grade, and never had class other than a connection class inside the building. All their classes were in trailers. So we opened Legacy Knowles. You got a kid at those two schools, and you knew what that split did to the culture of both of those schools. 1,500 plus middle school students on one campus is a large number of middle school students. West Jackson Elementary School had 1,300 plus kids last year. We opened Heroes. We took over 300 from West Elementary. We took 300 from North Jackson Elementary School. We took 300 from Springs. We thought we would open Heroes about 5,900. We are right at the 1,000 student threshold right now. West Jackson Elementary School is back over 1,100. And so explosive growth. Any questions on that? All right. Follow accomplishments. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the two high schools. Those are some of the wonderful places that you see accomplishments in the fall. I was doing this presentation in the spring. I've been talking about all 13 of our schools. And I say 12 to 13. So we have 12 schools. We still empower that 13 different locations. The top bullet point. The AJC this fall named this one of the top workplaces in the Atlanta area. That came from surveys with our staff. We're really proud of that. We expect USA Today to name us one of the top workplaces in America this spring. That's about recruiting and retaining the people. That's about how you treat them. Second bullet point there. We had a number of schools named in U.S. News and World Report's top schools. We had some distinguished PBI schools. PBI is positive behavior intervention support. How students treat their teacher, how teachers treat students, really important. We've had some awards from the Georgia Department of Education, math leaders, literacy leaders. One of the things that we really focus on is, are our kids reading on grade level? And as a community, as a school district, we continue to see that number go up and up. Our goal for this school year is to have 80+% of our kids reading on grade level at all of our schools, and we're working hard to make sure that happens. You will see that number continue to go to the 90s and hopefully 100%. We've got the beta schools of merit, beta schools of distinction, and then East Jackson High School earlier this year was named a Blue Ribbon Lighthouse School. I think we have East Elementary now. We have Maysville, South Jackson, a Blue Ribbon school. So 4 of those schools have been named in the last 2 years, which is exciting. East Jackson High School, going back to the student accomplishments, beta clubs advanced to the national competition. Volleyball had the best season in school history, finished in the Elite 8. Boys cross country won the AA state championship. Girls finished 4th. Football made the state playoffs for the 3rd time in school history, the 2nd. In the past 3 years, CompTIR finished 10th in the state. winter sports are going on right now, so we've got swimming, we've got basketball, we've got wrestling, all of those sports are continuing right now. And the marching band had a great season as well. The last bullet point under power, we had students that competed in Field USA, so there's competitions for kids in welding, there's competitions for kids in construction, plumbing, those sorts of things. We've seen a number of kids that have been successful in our schools for this competition, which is great. You gotta know, we need people doing those jobs. Jackson County High School, you might be a little bit familiar with, if you're in your area. Volleyball has the best record in school history. Went to the Elite Eight as well. Football, finished as the region runner-up and hosted a home playoff game for the first time in school history. So why is that important? Jackson County High School has been playing football since 1918. The top two teams in the region host a home playoff game. I know 1980 because that was the year I was born. That's 44 years old. That school's been playing football. And has never hosted a home playoff game. That's a great accomplishment, and that's only going to continue to get better. Girls cross country won the region championship, finished 11th in state. Boys finished in the top 20. Softball was the region runner-up. We had the marching band at Jackson High School. If you've never heard them perform, phenomenal. They won 2 grand championships this year. Excited about that. One Act Play won the region championship. Flag football made it to the Elite Eight. There were only 8 girls teams in the state left. They were one of those 8. Top cheer won the region championship, and then esports, sideline cheer, and winter sports are going on right now. So, good thing that all of those schools, specifically really focusing on the 2 high schools in power there.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So for our community that do not maybe have grandchildren in the school district, how do we find out about these things? Because I would love to come and see all of these great companies.
So I feel like we do a pretty good job on social media. So like Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and school websites.
Well, I know what social media is, but I'm like,
yeah.
I haven't really.
Yeah, those are the places where we, you know, it's interesting, we connect with more people, on social media sometimes than we do by email.
But you have your own group, like, you know, like we have homeowners.
Oh, yeah, we have our
So
own
what is
group.
it, is it called, Jackson County Living?
Every sport has their own group.
Oh, okay.
The athletic department for both high schools have their own group.
Okay.
The school has their own group.
The Jackson County newspaper has a nice sports section that highlights, what's going on.
Oh.
I don't know.
Ben, right here. Right here.
That's a website with all the different links to the different things? Really?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here tonight
You got it.
as well. It's a great presentation. I really appreciate it when on staff attention when I speak with Richmond residents, really Jackson County residents, teachers that are around their kids each day. There's a proposed daycare on Highway 53. You might be speaking to how that would help with staff retention and making these teachers' lives easier.
Yeah, we have teachers every day that drive from this area, who live in our area, that drive to the other neighboring counties to drop their kids off to school, for daycare. And, so I mean, I'm thinking of 3, ladies who work with us right now that I know that drive from Hamilton Mill to drop their kid off. And, so they live here, they drive to Hamilton Mill, and they drive back, all before school starts. And so it is a challenge. You know, I think, as our community grows and where it's at right now, the need for that, I think it makes sense for the community.
Great, thank you.
Yes, sir. Mr. Abel.
Just to pull.
Did I get it right, Mr.
You got
Abel?
it right. Just to pull on that string a little bit more, as we continue to grow and we need to attract the talent, has the school system looked at the needs, the numbers, what you might think we would have to do for childcare in order to be that much more attractive?
We have looked at, the school district having their own childcare. There's a liability that comes with that, and there's some challenges logistically about how large our county is. And right now, we want to stay. That's our issue in the state. But there are some school districts like us that are doing some of those things. I'm thinking of Bryan County has their own county school district, daycare system for teachers. We recruit really, really hard. I'll tell you, we spend a significant amount of time recruiting. I did a job fair this weekend. We do job fairs. We send our HR team and our PR team out to different colleges to recruit. It's kind of fun, you know. To connect with the next generation of teachers, you have to be a texter. So I'll give this little tip out. So they come back to the job fair and they give me the stack of resumes to people to text. And then I take the stack of resumes and I text every one of those people. And our team does as well. And we just continuously text those people to try to recruit in Jackson County. If you have the best teachers, you have the best team. And I would rather spend the time on hiring the best people, and investing that time and energy on those, to get the best teachers inside your school, inside of your community. I mean, the time on the front end makes up for a lot of time on the back. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was kind of curious on the vocational school.
Hold on one second, sorry. We need to get you on the mic so that people listening from home can hear you. Ty, you're really good at this. There's a mic.
Oh, man, I knew I was gonna get recruited to do something, once you get to sit in the front.
Thank you.
Anyhow, my question was, on the vocational school? Do you do any volunteer teachers at all? And the reason I ask is I used to go to the Habitat for Humanity high school over in Gainesville, and they'd have me show up at builds they were doing, and I would teach how to put in locks, how to do some of the mill work involved.
We have volunteers come in all the time to work with us. So if you want to shoot me an email, if we want to exchange contact information at the end, we'd love for you to come in and volunteer your time to help our kids, and just share your expertise. I think that's great.
Of course, now I might steal one or two of you graduates. We're looking for people all the time.
Yeah, I'm good with them getting a job.
All right.
Yes, sir. Great question.
Hey, Dr. Brown, I just want to say something on that. My son was actually at Empower, and he did the construction management degree, and he just took a job with Builders First Source at their truss plant. And so just having him be able to do that and have introduction to construction was a big asset for him getting that job.
So going back to your recruiting the best talent, what is the need for ESL teachers in Jackson County, and do you expect it to grow at the same rate as the teachers, or are we looking at an exponential growth for ESL kind of, and where are you going to get the ESLs? I saw, I think last year, where Gwinnett County actually went to Puerto Rico to recruit to get that kind of talent.
That's a great question. So the question is, ESL, we're talking about teachers who work with kids, English is their second language. I think the teachers are out there, you just have to recruit for that. There's quickly being advances in technology. Artificial intelligence is becoming more and more to the forefront. There are some things with artificial intelligence and language that's becoming more and more useful for teachers. So we have kids that show up in our schools that do not speak any English. And so our teachers do a phenomenal job of getting those kids to where they need to be. They work extremely hard. That can be a challenge, and so it does take an expertise on the teachers that have to be able to be successful with those kids. Who move in who have not been exposed to it. So 4 bullet points up there. What's the future look like? You guys are asking some great questions. Hopefully I'm giving some halfway decent answers. If not, Mr. Wester will do his presentation next year. Staff retention, huge. It's just part of it. We pay attention to our teachers and our staff and our leaders. School leaders are really, really important. They can make break of school. The second one's continuous growth, paying attention to, how many houses are for sale in our community, how fast they're selling, who they're selling to, how many kids we're getting from each of those, houses. And, you know, we try to use different metrics, for apartment complexes, we use different metrics for townhouses, we use different metrics for single-family homes. I bet you can use a different metric for single-family homes based on value, but we're not that sophisticated yet. Planning for the future, we bought 170 acres on the corner of 332 and Boone. We partnered with our county commission on that purchase. I personally think, that the tax dollars, whether they're with the county commission or they're with the school board, those are taxpayer dollars. And so however we can work together to utilize those, and make it go the furthest for our community and for the taxpayers, that's our job. We must be good stewards, of the money that's provided. So we'll show you the site in a second that we're working on that 332, site. You can take a look at the renditions of the schools. Ensure system-wide equity. This is really important. Doesn't matter where your kid goes to school inside of our community, whether it's in South Jackson or East Jackson or Maysville or North Jackson Elementary or West Jackson Elementary, we want them to have a positive experience. And so we don't want inequity across our district. We want our kids to have similar experiences. So our principals work together to make sure that happens. And that's something we pay very close attention to. So teacher pay over the years. We continuously work on teacher pay. The starting teacher right now in Jackson County with a bachelor's degree and 4 years of experience makes, sure, Wester, you know what that number is? $47,862. We're hoping we're going to be able to find $3,800 next year to bump it up to that smooth $48,000. But you'll see here over the years, teacher pay has increased. We also know inflation inside of our community and across our state and our country is happening. So we want to make sure that our teachers get competitive salaries. We're not at, our teachers aren't the highest paid teachers in our area. They work towards the middle. And so we're working really hard to make sure that we're competitive because pay is a part of the equation for people to make their decisions. So some future considerations, things that we're paying attention to. The rate of housing development. We pay very close attention to city council meetings, developments that are approved. We work hard to stay in constant communication with our city as well as our county commission so that we have a very good idea of what's taking place. I'll tell you, last year we worked really hard to develop a map. You may have seen that map. We put dots for every neighborhood. We put on the right-hand side the name of the neighborhood, how many dwellings were inside of that neighborhood, and where they were in the development phase. So that we could track how many housing developments were taking place because Bushton may be making decisions to add another neighborhood. County Commission may make decisions to add another neighborhood and approve development. And then Pendergrass may choose, their city council may choose to add another development. Well, each entity alone, whether that's Bushton or Pendergrass or the County Commission, they're making their decisions independently of each other, right? I'm not independent. I have to pay attention to all those entities, and we have to pay attention to all those entities to make sure we have a very good idea of what's going on inside the county. The second bullet point, we know what's happening, we have a good pulse on.
All right. They can't hear me online. It's all good. So the second point there, potential development inside the city of Arcade. We know what's happening in Houston. We know Twin Lakes is a significant development in our community. There's 1,300, and then you add in the thousands, 2,300 homes. That's a huge development. But the city of Arcade has been working to get water and sewer. They've got some large tracts of land that could potentially be developed. We feel like we have strong plans for the area, for Pendergrass, for Brazelton. Arcade's a sleeping giant. We don't know exactly if a large developer, a national builder, and that's one of the issues right now in Jackson County is for so long, it was local builders that were building in Jackson County. Well, when you have national builders, Fisher Homes, D.R. Horton, some of those big boys, they can build a significant amount of homes in a year and complete them. And so we have to be mindful of that and have to pay attention to it. The third one, the impact of continued annexations. So we have 3 independent school districts inside of our county, the Jackson County School System, which we represent. We have the City of Jefferson schools, and then we have Commerce schools. And when it comes to property tax, inside of those 3 entities, you don't share property tax. So if the property is inside of unincorporated Jackson County, or it's in Houston, or it's in Brazelton, or Pendergrass, or Arcade, or Nicholson, or Maysville, the county school district gets that property tax. But if it's inside the cities, those cities get that property tax. Well, why is that important? So if you look at a map of Jackson County 20, 30 years ago, it looks much different than it does today. So if you look at the city of Jefferson, they annexed all the way to I-85, and they went all the way to Dry Pond, and they continue to annex land along I-85. Commerce, same thing. They went south on 85. They're a number of years away from meeting together on 85, but they're getting closer and closer together. Why is that important? There's no kids, or there's very few kids that live next to the interstate. Most of that property is industrial and commercial property. And so it oftentimes carries a much higher tax value. And so they annex that land because they understand it has a higher property value. And so those property taxes go to those school districts. The next one, budget. So we have to pay health for all of our employees. That is a extreme expense. I don't have the dollar amount off the top of my head, but it's $1,800 per employee per month that we pay for state health, which is a large amount. Teacher,
$21,000 a year.
yeah, it's around $21,000 a year per employee. We have about 1,600 employees, and we don't control that. The next one there is TRS, Teacher Retirement Service, a huge recruitment and retention piece for teachers in the state of Georgia is our teacher retirement pension defined benefit plan. We also have to maintain current facilities. Lack of retail and commercial development had some help in Houston with that over the last few months with Publix and Kroger here. Acquisition of future school sites. So where we build schools is really, really important. We realize that, so we want to build schools where the people are and where the people are moving. So thinking that through, we have a desirable low class size. We want to keep that way. Continued investment in school safety. You watch the news like I did in September. School safety is every day on the forefront of our mind, whether it's a weather decision about to have school or not have school, or whether that's discipline inside of classrooms and kids misbehaving, or if that's like the tragedy we saw in Sarah, making sure that we take care of our students and our staff. And that's a burden that we all carry every day to make sure, because it doesn't matter what school your kid goes to. If they get on one of our buses or you drop them off the front of the school, I want to make sure every day you pick them up or they get dropped off. So that matters. Focus on permanent classrooms and managing school size. I think 1,500 kids in our community said this. 1,500 kids at a middle school is too many middle school kids. And our community hasn't supported 4,000 student high schools. And so, with as fast as we're growing right now, we have to be very mindful of those numbers. So here's some renditions of the automotive lab going on in Empower right now. They started construction on that. Probably come out of the ground in the next few weeks, which we're excited about. So we have hired a construction management firm to work on the 3 schools. The reason we did that is you want to partner your architect and your construction management team as quickly as possible to be able to save money, because there's things the construction crew will see in the architect's plans and ways to save money. So you want to get those 2 paired as quickly as possible. 3 new schools on that 332 site. which we think are needed. And we're just seeing the growth and how fast it's happening. If we continue to go on the path that we're on right now, we know where those schools will be in the next few years. And so we've got to make some decisions quickly. So here's some renditions of those three schools. Proposed Hayes Elementary School. These three are on the 332 and Boone site. The side view of the elementary school. Sells Mill Middle School, named after the park. The geographic location of the park. Houston High School. We took some parts of East Jackson High School and Jackson County High School and combined them. So you'll see the columns on the front of the school. That's from the new Jackson County High School. You'll see that glass second floor cafeteria. That's a very similar cafeteria they have at East High. We thought it was important to take pieces of both. We also, Mr. Wester's a former high school principal. I'm a former high school principal. So we've probably seen the majority of high schools in the state. We tried to take and figure out what made the best sense to build a high school and work with our architects to do that.
Can you go back to the first rendering?
Sure.
Let us see it again.
Go back to the elementary school. Yes, sir.
Mike, hold it, JJ. Hold it, JJ. Here.
I was just going to quickly ask what the desired classroom size is, and does that vary from elementary, middle, and high school?
Definitely varies per grade level. So even in elementary school, the number of kindergartners that you're going to want to have in a class versus the number of fifth graders, those are two different numbers. So, I mean, you want to have less than 20 kindergartners in a class. Pre-K, even less than that. You know, some kids come to us without being potty trained. So there's some complications with things like that. But fifth grade, you know, 24 is probably 24, 25. Middle school depends on the class. You know, it's going to depend on the level of the kid too, right? And how well they do academically. Sometimes you're going to want to have smaller class sizes to make sure the kids get more support, whether that's in literacy or in math. But a middle school class, I mean, 24, 25, 26. High school classes, same thing. We do have some classes that get 32, 33, 34. I mean, there are PE classes that are going to get much higher. They're dance classes. Their career tech classes are cut off at 28. You can't put more than 28 on a career tech class. So like a construction class or an ag class. Some of those that come with labs, you're going to have less than that just based on the safety of the classroom. So the next one is a courtyard view. And this is a picture of the high school courtyard. This is the media center here in front. You can see it on this one a little bit better. So this is Highway 332 on the bottom. Boone Road runs up the side. It looks like one of the big things we think about is traffic on site, and we also think about traffic off site. And so a big conversation for us is we have to partner with the county commissioners. We have to partner with city officials, especially if you're building a school inside the city. And you have to have conversations about the traffic flow on campus and off campus. So the county commission has already started talking about putting a roundabout here on the corner of Boone and 332. If you remember in front of Heroes Elementary School what the traffic looked like pre-roundabout and post-roundabout, I think we will all cheer for post-roundabout. I was worried about the kids driving the roundabout, but I've seen some of you adults drive it. And I'm just kidding. So it's the high school's built like a U with a T courtyard in the middle. I think it's important for kids to get outside. At the same time, we want to make sure that they're safe and that we protect them. You got football stadium, the elementary school, on this corner. This area up here is the parcel of land that we sold to the county for Parks and Rec space. This is the middle school, and you'll see middle school football, soccer, and then high school football, soccer, lacrosse, track, field. Large parking lot. If we're going to be using it during the day, and then Parks and Rec's going to be using it in the evening, we thought it was important to have that shared space there.
Talk a little bit about the relationship with the school system and Parks and Rec and the actual partnership that doesn't really exist.
Yeah, so, yes, so, Parks and Rec uses all of our facilities almost every day. And so they play basketball in all of our gyms. They play football, on our fields. And we partner with them to save money. So like when we moved Jackson County High School from its current location to Empower, or to Skelton Road, we made the Empower College and Career Center. And so that football stadium wasn't getting used as much as we thought it needed to be used. So the county came in and said, let's partner with you. We'll put down artificial turf so that it can be used 24/7. And it saved the county a lot of money because they didn't have to go out and build a field. So however way, and part of that is conversations, part of that is relationships, and making sure that, you know, we're trying to look out for the community and make decisions of what's best for the community. Yes, sir.
That 250 car stacking, is there gonna be a 250 car stacking for each one of those schools?
There is very close to that. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but there, based on our calculations of what we looked at with traffic patterns, there would not be a time where we would back traffic up on Highway 332 here or on Boone Road here. In the elementary school, which is most of your car riders, right? This is the loop coming off of Boone Road. So there's no way that you're dropping a kid off at the front or back of the school that you're going to back up this road over here.
So that big loop is gonna basically use up a lot of the 250?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so one of the things we make sure our architects do is they take and they measure how long cars are, and they take to find out how many cars can fit in the loop, because we don't want to back traffic up. Other questions before I keep going? All right. I hope I'm not boring you. Mr. Wester. All good. Nah. So here's that courtyard view I'll show you. It did say Highway 332 Stadium, but it doesn't say that anymore. This is all in the same grade, the high school and the stadium, which makes it nice. This is the fine arts. All of our high schools have auditoriums. It's great for student assemblies. It's great for parent nights. Our drama department uses it every day. And there's a gymnasium here. And you can see we actually added in the ocean in the background. We feel good about that. Our property values went up significantly. We feel good about that. Yes.
Thank you. So you said that the county Parks and Rec uses the property on each of the school, at each school. Do they pay the school?
So we have a memorandum of understanding, and yes, they do pay a portion.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure it wasn't.
No.
Did they pick up the Do they pick up the responsibility when they're using the facility?
Yes, sir. We have a memorandum of understanding between the school district and the commissioners on that.
So their insurance policies can cover
Mhm.
everything?
Yes, sir.
And exempt you from, okay.
Yes. I don't know the exempt, but everything. Yeah.
An observation, in my experience, is limited to West Jackson Middle School and Empower. You fail to take credit for teaching those kids the citizenship that we don't see everywhere across the country. What a true representation of this county those young men and women are, and I attribute that to your staff.
So the board, thank you, first of all, but the board bears the responsibility of naming facilities. And they take it very serious. As a superintendent, I thought, I had in my head the laundry list of things that you would have to worry about or work through. And I never really had naming of schools up near the top. But you move to Jackson County and you got to build a lot of schools. And so Heroes Elementary School, the significance of that name to our community and to our kids. And what we were telling them when we named that school Heroes Elementary School was, many people think of heroes that they see on TV, but there are heroes within our midst every day. People like Chief Stevens, who gets after it every single day, who, over the last 3 days, has had to deal with a significant weather event and all the things that come to that. And so we have people like that in our community who do a phenomenal job. And so our board making that decision to honor individuals like him teaches our kids something, teaches his kids something. They see him as dad, but he's also a hero inside of our community. So there are many, many examples like that. But really, really proud and honored to have that opportunity to have a school within Jackson County named Heroes. All right, Mr. Wester is back employed. Just kidding. Courtyard view, you can see there. So you want to build schools nice. You also don't want to build schools extravagant. But we also know that school's going to be there for 50 years. The media center's the building right in front of you. Nice ocean in the back.
What group of students would be going to this school?
So that's a great question. We have not released any district lines yet. And to be honest with you, we've not worked on district lines because there are significant developments, residential developments between now and the time these schools would open that we want to see. Because the worst thing you can do is not draw the lines in the right spot. And there's not a perfect way to draw lines. We work, our GIS department, our county does a phenomenal job. They can tell us where we have kids living, and partnering with them and Joel and his staff to help us work through that has been really important. But we know that elementary school will take kids from West Elementary and Gum. We know that middle school will split West Jackson Middle School again, and we know that high school will split Jackson County High School.
And one more question. When are these proposed to be finished?
The high school and the elementary school will be finished in August of 27, and the middle school would open in August of 28. This gives you an idea of the highways. So you got Highway 32, Boone Road, roundabout there on the corner. All right. Mike.
Kind of unrelated question, because you said that they're not extravagant. What do you think about Beaufort High School?
It's nice. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Mike.
You talked about the loop off of Boone Road. What about the other side with the kids? Is it because you won't have the riders coming in from high school, you don't think?
What now?
Is that now I got Skeleton Road in my mind. That's not it. So not Boone, the other side.
Sam Freeman?
Sam Freeman.
Yes.
So the cars that come in from that side, where would they queue on this?
That's not been finalized yet.
There's not a roundabout.
I don't know the answer to that question yet. All right. So, funding plan, how are you going to pay for it? So I mentioned we receive on average about $1.2 million a month from East Splost. You multiply that by 12, you're at 14.4, right at $15 million a year. That high school or a high school to build, we haven't gotten the exact price, a guaranteed maximum price on that yet. But the cost of construction has escalated. I'm sure you've all seen it. And so it would take us probably 8, 9, 10 years of saving every penny of ELOS just to be able to build that high school. And so and I'm not allowed to say anything but information, so I'm just going to give you some information. In March 18th, there's a bond and ELOS vote on the ballot. It's two separate questions. One's to renew the East Splost, and the second one is to allow us to get $200 million worth of general obligation bonds to be able to build schools. These are the 3 schools that we have renderings for. We have to build a new North Jackson Elementary School. We have to do renovations at East Jackson Middle School. We have to build a East Jackson Elementary School. And the project list is significant of all the things that we have to do. In March of 25, we pay off 3 more schools. We pay off East Jackson High School. We pay off South Jackson Elementary School. And we pay off Gum Springs Elementary School. With significant payoff for our school district, if you think about it. Having paid off, would that be 5 schools in 3 years? That's a huge accomplishment. I'm very frugal, and I believe the schools belong to the community, but we want our kids to have opportunities to go to nice schools. That burden falls on all of us, so we work really hard to be able to look for ways to save money as a school district. We realize that school tax is the largest expense on your property tax, but we feel like we continue every day to make decisions that are savvy and business decisions that make sense, and give our kids the opportunity to have the best chance to have an amazing public school education. So that's all the stuff going on with that.
How is it just got approved that seniors are supposed to get the school tax off their property tax bill? Pardon me? Oh, okay.
It's not a complete full exemption, but it is a significant, it's graduated at 62, 65, 70, but those amounts go up from.
But you figured this into your.
We did figure this in. We did.
Okay.
We did. So, other questions that I can answer? Yes, sir.
The obligation bond, is that a mill rate tax or is that a sales tax, as you mentioned earlier?
It is a mill rate tax. It's currently, we have a 2.6 general obligation bond millage. We have looked at that and do not foresee that changing in the duration of this bond.
Okay. So the question that follows up is, does this basically fall into the same exemptions, this bond, or is this outside the realm of?
So general
what was
obligation
passed?
bonds do not fall, there are no exemptions for general obligation bonds.
Okay. So that's why I'm here tonight. I know that in Houston, City of Houston, we have the highest mill rate of all the cities in Jackson County. And I am frustrated. I just moved here. I bought a house that I couldn't buy if I was just buying it. I sold a house in Nevada, and so I'm now looking at this massive property tax. I'm going to have to move out of Jackson County. You guys have 3 school districts, which makes no sense in terms of duplication of efforts. And so now $7,000 or so in property tax. I lived in Las Vegas. We had the 4th or 5th largest school district in the country, 2.3 million people. My property tax, my house was about 3,000 square feet. My property tax was $3,000. So why am I paying $7,000? And why in Houston am I paying the highest mill rate of any city in Jackson County?
That's a great question. And I'm happy to have a conversation with you about that. I would tell you this. So there are multiple entities involved in property tax. You've got residential, you've got industrial, and you've got commercial. Our county has a significant amount of residential property tax. And so 70% residential. And so that's one of the places that skews it. I would also say that there are different entities that are different taxing authorities that you're mentioning. So you're mentioning city. I don't have anything to do with the city millage rate. I don't have anything to do with the county millage rate. I don't have anything to do with some of those other millage rates. I would also tell you that I have no control, our school district has no control over the growth. So you're handcuffed, right? Like you want your kids to be in permanent classrooms. You don't want to overtax citizens. And so it's either we put them in mobile modular units, which the rent is very expensive to rent those to be able for them to have classrooms, or do you build permanent facilities? And so that's the quandary that we're in. That's the challenge. Yes, sir.
I've got a mic. Sir, I really appreciate your questions and comments. Just for the record, Houston does not have the highest mill rate in Jackson County, and I know Dr. Brown will be looking forward to talking to you. I think the casinos make up like a third of the state's general fund and are a significant contributor to the education system, but look forward to expanding on that conversation. Yes.
Not true.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, not really a question, but in light of all this, and I know you may not be able to say it, but is that what makes the East Lost even more important, that we get out and vote for that?
So the thing with East Blost is all the counties surrounding us have one in as well. And so every dollar that's spent in Jackson County, whether it's one of our residents or not one of our residents, it goes toward that East Blost.
So am I hearing that it is important to vote for
Yes,
that?
and we can use,
keep
and,
our
and
tax-
part of the East Blost is to pay the bond. It doesn't fully pay it, but to pay part of the bond.
One thing that I'll point out when you're talking about the East Boston and any sort of consumption tax is it's spread over everybody that buys. One of the things in Jackson County that we actually receive more tax dollars and sales tax dollars is fuel. So if you look at the Pilot gas station, I know that that's something that gets everybody fired up in Brazelton and Houston. Every time one of those truckers comes in and they fill up, they're helping us pay for this. So if in theory, if there is no East Blost there, that's got to be made up by somebody, and that would be you and I. So Dr. Brown can't quite go out there and say go to support it, but I will openly say that to you.
So this may be for Ty to answer, give you a break. But as the schools come online and our city has suffered tremendously on the electrical grid not being sufficient and continually failing us. When the construction of the 3 new schools, was that looked at? Did somebody say, hey, Georgia Power, we need this? And
That conversation's already happened.
Okay. Can you share with us what the outcome of that was by any chance?
Yeah, I mean, I've had conversations with power company about the school. Yes. All right. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I'm happy to hang out, take some questions, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and talk tonight. Mr. Wester and I both believe in being public servants, and ultimately we're here for the betterment of kids, and we make decisions on what's best for our kids and not what's often easiest for adults. But thank you for giving us the time. Thank you, Mayor, Council, for being here this evening. If I can ever be of service, do not hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to serve. So thank you.